Hello there. It's been a while, but it's good to be back. Today we have a kind of unique knife. Now these are not rare. They're collectible knives that Boker made this between 1976 and 1978, but I want to get in more into the history of it a bit before we look at the knife. These are called the Boker Tree brand Great American Story knives, and they are all about the history of America. The first series, this is the second series. You see there, it says part 2. The first series dealt with the founding of this country and the history of its growth, and they were introduced 1974 to 1976. And they were basically centered around the American bicentennial of 76. And the second series, which is what this is a part of, was produced between 1976 and 1978. And I'm just reading off of the knifecollector.net site. It says, the knives are a variety of 2- and 3-bladed folders with carbon steel blades and oversized shields set in the handles. The handles range from Delrin to bone to stag, and the shields and bolsters are usually silver in color. The shields are stamped with a scene and usually a small amount of writing. The knives came new with boxes and certificates of authenticity. The big knife blade was usually stamped with a model number, such as 1776 for the Golden Spike Large Stockman knife. This is Series 2, and what Series 2 was about was to commemorate the rise of industry in the United States, the industrial age, and the innovation of America. And this one is, they all came with different scenes. If you look at the Type 2 or the Part 2, there was they were themed. The first one was the birth of the southern industry, and you had the cotton gin as the emblem, and then westward expansion, the map of Louisiana Purchase, and on and on and on. And this one is modern energy, and they stopped production of this in 1977. What this is a commemoration of the first hydroelectric plant in the United States. And I looked that up, and I want to kind of read you some of that. This is from americaslibrary.gov. And it says the world's first hydroelectric power plant began operation September 30th, 1882 on the Fox River in Appleton, Wisconsin. The plant was later named the Appleton Edison Light Company by Appleton paper manufacturer H.J. Rogers, who had been inspired by Thomas Edison's plans for an electricity producing station in New York. Unlike Edison's New York plant, which used steam power to drive its generators, the Appleton plant used the natural energy of the Fox River. When the plant opened, it produced enough electricity to light Rogers' home, the plant itself, and a nearby building. Hydroelectric power plants of today generate a lot more electricity. By the early 20th century, these plants produced a significant portion of the country's electric energy. The cheap electricity provided by the plants spurred industrial growth in many regions of the country. To get even more power out of the flowing water, the government started building dams. In 1933, the U.S. government established the Tennessee Valley Authority, or the TVA, which introduced hydroelectric power plants to the South-troubled Tennessee River Valley. The TVA built dams, managed flood control and soil conservation programs, and more. It greatly boosted the region's economy, and this development happened in other places as well. Soon, people across the country were enjoying electricity in homes, schools, and offices, reading by electric lamp instead of candlelight or kerosene. New electricity-powered technologies entered America's homes, including electric refrigerators and stoves, radios, televisions, and can openers. Today, people take electricity for granted, not able to imagine life without it. So this is a commemoration of the birth of electricity, the birth of the modern power industry, and all of that. And so let's take a look at the knife. When we look at this, you see the power plant here, and this is the emblem that is on the knife. We open it up, and we see a certificate of authenticity, or a registration certificate, they're calling it, date of issue 1976. So that's when this knife was produced, regardless of what that site says. Congratulations upon becoming the proud owner of the Boker Tree Brand limited edition knife, one of 12 knives in the Great American Story Part 2 collection. The entire series of 12 knives will include the following themes, and they give all of them: birth of Southern industry, westward expansion, blazing the trail, American proclamation, California gold, transportation, bridging the continent, modern fuel, continental mail service, modern energy, which is what this is about. On to Oklahoma, revolution in transportation and 200 million Americans. These knives have been hand-tooled by master craftsmen. Blades have been created from a special vanadium steel, and bolsters and pins are nickel-plated. To add to the historical significance and authenticity of this advanced edition, a registration certificate is packaged in each box. Your knife has its own exclusive serial number. By returning the completed section below, this serial number can be officially registered at headquarters of Boker Tree Brand House. Wonder if I could register that now. I doubt it. But so that's the certificate, the registration certificate, and then we have the knife in this box. Now I'm not sure whether this is stag or Delrin or any such thing. It looks like stag to me. So, but the knife is a whittler. Let's take it out of the box. Let's look at it. You see that it is a true whittler. Nickel silver bolsters, the serial number, and I don't know if I can get that where the camera can pick it up. And it's like a serpentine frame, like a lot of the Stockmans are. But again, a true whittler. It has the split back, and the main blade it's stamped Modern Energy, USA, Boker, USA. Sorry, I can't see well in the camera. I have to pick the knife up and look. And the Boker Tree brand, it looks like. So, clip point. Then we have that's a coping blade. Walk and talk is fairly good. Not so much on the main blade as I would like. But then you have the pen blade. And it's a main blade on that, on both. Yes. In true Whittler fashion, the main blade is on the two springs. So, very nice. Now, one thing I don't like about it is the way they did the main blade. If you look at that blade, it's got kind of what looks like a Scandi. But not really. That's really not a, in my opinion, a very good grind to be putting on a knife. And then you've got the regular, the grind that I like, which is more of a flat grind, all the way down the blade. And when you consider the fact that these are commemorative knives, and I will never sharpen this knife, I will never use this knife, I'll never carry it, it is a collectible. That's what it's meant to be. Okay, then that's not that big of a deal. So, but it's a beautiful knife. It's a U.S. made Boker. And yeah, lovely knife for a collector. So let's that's the Boker Great American Story Knife Part 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.